Hi guys, and welcome to Rufus and Doofus. Chico here. A little update. Today I'm going to get under the coach and check out where that gas is leaking from on the fill tube. I've been down there before and I have one suspect spot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to mount the camera down there, but I'm going to bring it down there and point out where I think it's leaking and why. So it's a little dark down there. Please forgive me if the video doesn't come out that well. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to video the actual fix. It's just a little cramped. It's right near one of the jacks that the lifting jacks on the motorhome, and really not much space. Not to mention where that hose goes in. There's also not much space. But here's best case scenario. Best case scenario, it's a fitting that is accessible. Worst case scenario is that right after that fitting, there's a rubber, small piece of rubber hose that connects to the tank, and it goes right through the frame, and on the other side there is no clearance to work on that fitting, whether it needs a clamp or if it's cracked there or whatever. It's going to require me to drop the fuel tank. I really don't want to do that. It's a big job, and even just dropping that one side won't help because the fitting is right inside the frame, which means that the tank would have to be dropped and shifted, or actually shifted and dropped. So I'm really hoping that's not the case. That could turn into a real nightmare. And you saw what I went through with that filter, so just imagine what this would be like here. But that's it for right now. So I'm going to go under the motorhome and show you where I believe that fitting is giving me the problem. Okay, so here we go. Put your coveralls on. We're going in. Might want to wear some safety glasses too. See you in a bit. All right, here we are under Gus, and that's where the fuel fill starts to the outside of the vehicle, and everything looks pretty good right along here. It would have been nice if it was one of these because they're accessible. But then we come along here. It gets dark here, folks, so bear with me. I'm trying to hold the camera and show you at the same time. But this is the fitting right here that I think isn't on correctly. I think when he dropped the gas tank and reconnected this, that he kind of damaged the end of it, which is no big deal. But I don't think that this clamp is clamping the way it should. I believe it's too far forward. It's not even on the hose in the back. I can feel that it's right on the edge. So I'm believing that that's the problem. I don't know for sure, but I think I even see a little movement of this part in the rubber as I flex it up and down. At least it looks that way. Pretty sharp bend there. It looks like it's stressed, and therefore where my finger is back here, not so much on the front, but back here, there's a little bit of a gap and a tear in the hose, and I'm thinking that that's where my problem is going to be. So I think what I should do is remove this, obviously, this clamp, and then remove this one here, which should give me a little bit more maneuverability. This one here is really in there. I hate to disturb it too much, but I think that if this were to come out of this one just a tad more, it would give me more room to make this connection properly. So that's where I'm at. I'll see if I can find a spot to mount the camera. But taking that clamp off isn't going to be too bad. This one here is going to be a bear because the screw's on the other side, obviously. So it always works, right? Or maybe not, but we'll see a little bit in a minute. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Sorry if there's camera vibration. I'm laying on my back and I got the camera on my chest. And like I said, it's very tight in here, and the jack is right in my way. I might even lift this up a little bit just to see if I can get some more room and possibly get that jack cleared away. All right, we'll see you in a little bit now that you know what the challenge is. Oh, here's where the problem, if you can look real close, you see that that hose goes right through the frame member here. And then over here, right there, there is Zippo for clearance. Zippo. And that, I got my finger up in there, and well, couldn't do it with that one. Just not even enough room to, hang on. I don't want to get my finger caught, but that one feels like it's on correctly. And as I say, the fitting from the tank meets up with the frame, so that whole tank would have to come down and move over before it would come down and clear that. Real bare. Probably not a one-man job either. Lots of jacks and maybe some help, but we'll see. Hopefully we don't get to that point. Okay, enough false alarms. Here we go. We're gonna try and get this thing off. See you in a bit. Well, I found a place to mount the camera, I think. Should stay there. And what I did is I lowered the jacks on the rear, and believe it or not, it picked me up about 8 inches of space here, which is much appreciated. So I'm going to try right now, see if I can get this clamp off here. Wish I could see. Boy, I'll tell you something. You don't realize how much your head weighs until you're laying on your back and you're trying to pick it up. Well, I can tell you right now, that clamp was not on there very tight. I'm wondering if I get this off if we have a successful fix, if I should put a new one in, only because when these things rust, they break. Let's see here. Almost off. Okay, yeah, that wasn't on there tight at all. Now, getting that out of there. Sorry if you see the jostling. The only place I could mount the camera was on the vent hose, so you might get some movement. Oh yeah, that's gonna come out of there not too easily. Let me see if I can find a better spot for this camera. Might be a little better. We're still going to get some movement though, folks. But yeah, I think that's where the problem is. Yeah, because I can almost put my finger between the hose and the fitting. And like I say, I think he tore it there with something. Maybe a screwdriver, but if I can get that in far enough, we should be okay. But getting this out of here is not going to be pleasant. Boy, not fun. Of course, this one's on from the top. Trying to do this without wrecking the fitting that's going to the tank. That's the last thing I want to do. It is coming out though. Feels like it is. You know what? Maybe it was just a clamp that wasn't on there well enough. Interesting. It's all these awkward positions that kill you. Starting to have second thoughts because that was in there a lot further than I thought. I'm hoping it was just the clamp that was not on there tight, which could be. So let's see if we can get her back in. Very possible that just needed to be tightened. Maybe we'll double clamp it. I'm going to try and slide it back in because it seems like it had plenty of pipe inside there. So let's try and slide that back in another inch. And then we'll put the clamp on there. And we'll go get ourselves another clamp and double clamp it, because I just don't think that clamp was doing a damn thing where it was. Alright, that's about where it was. Yeah, I think I got plenty of pipe in there. What I'm going to do is just try and sneak that in there a little bit more, and then re-put this clamp on and tighten it up. I think he tightened it with a screwdriver, which is probably part of the reason he couldn't get it tight, and it was not tight. So let's see if we can get that in there a little bit more. Alright, we'll start it with the screwdriver. This time we'll put it back a little further. Slug it up and then get down here with a ratchet. That's about as tight as he had it, and I can tell you that it's not tight at all. So we're going to tighten that up, and I'm going to take a ride over to Home Depot. I'm going to do that right now before I even tighten this one, and we're going to get another clamp, a nice heavy duty clamp, and put it right here, so we'll have a double clamp there. And I got a feeling that just may fix our problem. Yep, I hope, because if it's back here, ain't no way in hell that I'm going to be able to do anything without dropping a tank. So wish me luck, folks. I'm off to Home Depot This one here is on real tight. I think that's a factory tighten up job. It's actually got the hose compressed all the way around and the screws coming from the top. So probably put together before they put the floors in and everything else. All right, guys, enough of this for now. I'm gonna go get some clamps and we'll be right back. Well, yesterday when I did the repair job back here and I got home to edit the clip, for some reason the GoPro must have shut off, so you didn't get to see me adding this second clip here. But that's all I did, so you didn't miss much on that. This band here is the new one. That's the old one, moved up forward quite a bit, torqued down with a ratcheting set. So I got a lot more torque than he got with that screwdriver, and I really think that's where the problem was. So I came back down here, crawled under it for you guys just to show you what was done. And I hope that if you ever have to go through this, it helps. All right, guys. Back to the old grindstone here. Let's find something else to do. Well, a little recap of today. What we did first is we crawled underneath Gus, and or Guz I should call him, and checked out the problem with that jack not retracting. The good news is it wasn't a hydraulic problem or an electrical problem, but one of the springs where it connects to the foot on the bottom, the spring is broken. That little hook is broken. I think we can redo the hook. The problem is going to be stretching that spring. It's got some pretty good force to it, and I had asked if anybody out there has got any ideas to share with me. I'm not going to tackle that problem right now. The foot from the jack is up and out of the way, but I had to coax it up there, and the other spring does hold it up once it's up. I'm thinking I might use some straps, you know, the kind you tie down with cargo, and hopefully I can get enough pull strength with the strap if there's something else down there where I can connect the other end of the strap to. So that's one possibility. I don't have a come along. I don't have anything, and that would be overkill. The parts would be too big to get in there. So it has to be something small, and it has to be something that will stretch that spring. So if you have an idea, leave it in the comments, please. The other thing we attacked today, and I was kind of not looking forward to it, I put it off, but it turns out that it may have been, and I use the word may have been, an easy solution. Because when I got down there, the clamp that was on that fitting sticking out through the frame did seem a little loose. There was a little slop in there. So when fueling, you know, that fuel going down along that tube and then hitting where it goes into the tank could have backed up a little bit and leaked. So what I've done is I got a lot more torque on that one clamp, and I moved it in closer to the frame as far as I could. So it's grabbing a hold of that pipe and the rubber that goes over it, the rubber hose, a little better, and I tightened it down much tighter than it was. Also picked up an extra clamp and put that right next to the other clamp that was on there and torqued that up quite a bit. So hopefully that will take care of the problem. Only time will tell, because I'm not going to go fuel this up today. So another thing I just wanted to mention, I know that this unit in particular doesn't have a locking gas cap, and it's probably a concern, I would assume, of a lot of RVers out there. But from being under the rig and looking how far away the gas cap is from the actual entrance of the fuel filler into the tank, it's a real stretch. I mean, it's a long distance, and there's some pretty interesting bends down there, as you saw in the video. So I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think it would really be possible to get a hose to make those bends and be able to siphon the gas out of the gas tank. I might be wrong, but even if you could do it, I think a thief would be looking for something a little quicker and easier to do. I don't think he's going to crawl under there and actually disconnect anything, and if he did, that wouldn't help you anyway if you had a locking gas cap. So you might want to take a peek under there and maybe give yourself a little peace of mind and say, yeah, I don't think a hose would make it, you know, from one end to the other. If it was, it would have to be a very small hose, and it would also have to be long enough to get in there. And if it's really small, it's not going to siphon very quickly, so the guy's going to be there for, you know, quite a while to get himself a gallon of gas, a gallon or two of gas. So just wanted to throw that in there. Also, the next project that we're going to do, and I'm hoping the part comes today, is we are going to add an adapter to our propane tank, which is going to allow us to use a small portable tank so that we don't have to drive the rig if we don't want to get some propane. We can always get a 20-pound tank and adapt it quickly to the rig. And it's also going to allow us to run an accessory such as a gas grill. But I think that we're going to be limited to a fitting, which I think is called a high pressure fitting. It's a little different than the one that's on a big gas grill, but it'd be great for a lantern or the gas grills that are made to use it, Coleman stoves, things like that, where you use the little propane tanks and you notice that fitting is different. That's what it's going to adapt to. The part is called a extend-a-stay, I believe, and there's a number of them out there. I've read some good things and I've read some bad things, so we're going to try it out. I tried doing something myself. I took a whole video of it. I didn't like the way it came out. I mean, it looked great, it was functional, but I didn't like it because it had a safety issue. When you work with propane fittings, most of them that would dangle or, you know, be coming off the tank, excuse me, they seal themselves and they only allow propane to come through when it's actually tightened up in the receiving fitting. And the way I did it, it didn't do that. I had a gate valve in there for gas, a gas ball valve, I guess you'd call it, specifically for gas, but I just didn't like the fact that if somebody turned it for whatever reason and the propane was out on, that it would come spewing out. So didn't like that. I dismantled it, but I will show you what I did and what I dismantled. Okay, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe, because there's plenty of fixing we got to do yet, and we're getting closer and closer to that day where we're actually going to take off. We are going to test drive this baby again, though, in a few days. So hang in there. We'll see you soon. Bye.